What's up, Netrunners? We're back here, and we've got Jeremy on this side, Taun right here. You guys just watched their game. And so, yeah, we're going to ask him how things went. First, congrats, Jeremy, on your games. So I guess I'll start with you. What were your deck choices? Why did you choose to play? Let's start with the first game, Argus. What was your thought on how you built your deck and why you chose Argus?
Well, I mean, I went to regionals, which you were there as well.
Yeah.
And I really had fun with Argus. I think there's a lot of you can sync a lot of the cards together with the sacrificing agendas and Archer and things like that, and just trying to get it all to sync together with cheap agendas, things like that, and going for the scorch. But you can also really entice them with Oaktown renovation, things like that. Well, when Film Critic came out, I had to change some things. Which wasn't too bad. I got rid of some of my subliminal messagings and replaced them with contract killers. So it hasn't actually been used yet, but it's there. And it's just something that I didn't think a lot of people played, but I've seen a lot of Argus out there today, so it's not as original as I thought.
Yeah, Argus is pretty big. We've got 3 of them out here today. So yeah, yours went to pretty good effect. But you had the counter for Argus. We saw 2. No, not just that. You had 2 Plascretes, right?
Yeah.
You had one in hand which you used to install, and you had another one. You went pretty aggressive in the beginning. What was your rationale for how aggressively you went and ran?
Essentially, the fact that I could take the tag and drop them or get them with gang sign after he had done something like hostile takeover and just spent his entire turn. I mean, I didn't really have to worry about the tag. I could just clear it off on my turn if I managed to snag it with gang sign or something to that effect.
Yeah.
As for the aggression, I actually didn't see all that much of my economy, so I was trying to hammer it really hard in the beginning and sort of use the mid-game to pick it back up.
Yeah. I think your opening was very strong because he was spending a lot of time reinstalling a lot of his ice, and there was usually only 1 ice per server, and you were bouncing them back, running R&D, getting another bounce, and it still seemed like I thought like you were going to get the upside on that tempo. Especially after you got the KD, but it didn't end up going that way. What was your influence in Lila? Like, what was your whole deck?
Okay, so the influence is a single Corroder, a single Zoo, 2 Film Critics, 2 Lucky Find, and I think that's it.
Okay. 2, 2, 2, 2. Okay, that might be enough. Okay.
I believe it's 14.
Oh, you're not using the full 15.
No, I'm not.
Stim hack. One more influence. Stim hack. Seriously.
I don't have any way of using it in mid-run.
It doesn't matter. You run the whole stuff. No, I just love Stim hack. Like, last influence, Stim hack. No questions asked. Yeah. That's interesting. Yeah, the dual Plascrete. So you were expecting a lot of meat damage today, which you were correct on.
I was expecting that Film Critic could protect me from the worst of net damage, and I figured that, yes, I didn't have much in the way of tag protection, so I needed a way of protecting myself from getting scorched.
Yeah. So. It was really interesting that first game, like how, like I said earlier, you were running very aggressively, shaking the tags. I thought it was very interesting when you took that meat damage, though, on your first Plascrete.
Yeah, essentially because I wasn't seeing, when I was repeatedly hitting R&D, I wasn't seeing the stuff that allowed him to voluntarily give me tag. I figured I could chip in, and instead of having to ruin my own economy, instead burn off a little bit of that and keep
you have the backup
money.
As well, which I was responsible. Like, oh, he's got 2 Plascretes. You rarely see 2 Plascretes nowadays. It used to be like auto include back in the day when Blue Sun first got huge. Yeah. So what was your methodology when you were playing the deck? What was your main objective? I know you like...
It was mostly damage control to start off with because, I mean, he got the gang sign out, so I was like, oh, great, I score something, I lose ice, and then he accesses something else. And I was trying to put it back down, but then when I actually had a snare in hand, so I was more welcoming of it, and I was like, all right, just get rid of the agendas because what he's going to access, there's a chance it's going to be a snare. And I had a DRT sitting out there, so DRT and snare is, my best friends. So that's what I was trying to do with that. I also had contract killers sitting out, ready to start advancing if I needed to. So I actually had a good amount of stuff out in the remotes. It was just getting the ice down there and keeping it there. But once I got snare in hand, I was more excited because I was like, well, he's going to think I'm leaving my HQ open because I'm scrambling to put out ice, when in reality I'm trying to get him to get the snare that I had. And I had one more in R&D somewhere, so I was waiting for that too.
Yeah, I see you were very aggressive in your scoring. As soon as you got your Oaktowns, you're like, whatever, try to get in the server. Because I don't think you only had Crota as your breaker, and then you got a Ninja later.
I had a Ninja later.
Yeah.
Was desperately trying to dig and find an inside job just to try and go around stuff.
Yeah, I was going to ask, you didn't have it at the end.
I have 3 in the deck, and I didn't see a 1.
Yeah, so you face-checked the Enigma that kind of closed the game. You're like trying to scoop, and he's like, oh, what are you going to do with your last collection? You're like, draw a card.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was unfortunate. Anything else you have to say about that game?
the one thing that I wanted him to do, I sort of desperately wanted him to do, was to actually res what I thought was the Archer in front of R&D when I ran, but he just instead res the DRT, and I'm like, okay, you had no interest in doing that. I need to switch gears.
It was Archer, yeah.
Cool.
And because I think I motioned to grab an agenda before I resed it, and I was like, well, you know what that is now. And I wanted to, I love doing that. I love killing programs and making money, but the thing you have to kind of teeter with Argus, with things like that, I think Wayland in general, is when you're starting to sacrifice too much. Because I had a false lead out there I was waiting to use too, and I actually won that game with points, which doesn't happen very often, so I didn't want to scrap too much.
What is your tag ability? How do you tag the runner?
I just have one C-source in there, and I rely on the C-source and the 2 snares to tag. And that's really, I think that's about it. I don't really have anything else.
So no mid-seasons?
No, nothing like that.
Just the snare, C-source.
Right.
Do you have any like Ghost Branch, anything like that?
No, it's versatile, I think, because I can score the points. And what I rely on is the ability, because a lot of people want to take a tag and they'll forget about false lead or something like that, and then I can use that. Or they'll just hit a snare, fourth turn.
Interesting. Oftentimes you have a lot more tag really to lay the tag, but you seem to only have a couple of ways,
right?
The snare or the C-source, and it's been working out. Have you got kills today?
Yeah, I actually drew a C-source in my first hand. In the second or third game, I had C-source and a Scourge, and then I got another Scourge, and I purposely laid out a bunch of remotes, one of which was an open Capital Investors, and I had Oaktown, I think, out, and I had a Jackson out because I was like, just run on something. And
makes us run, you just die.
Yeah, you ran.
Yeah, that could happen early if they get a good econ lead. There's like C-source, Scourge. Yeah, you're not prepared for it.
And that's why I got the higher risk investment in there also, which is a great C-source card. Okay,
so what's up? So we'll go to the second game. I think the biggest question we have, especially from the comments, is this tour guide situation. That's 6 influence.
That's 6 influence.
Pretty hard on the tour guide. How do you feel about tour guide in this meta? That's actually the main question.
Today, this was the first Anarch matchup I played.
Where tour guide stayed on the board.
Yeah, tour guide stayed on the board. Well, no, this was first Anarch period.
Oh, okay.
First Anarch period. I was sort of banking on people being a little bit tired of playing Anarch after seeing so much of it in the last couple.
Yeah.
So
Anarch for life.
There are a couple of people who are dedicated Anarch players, but so long as I don't see Parasite, it's actually incredibly brutal.
But that's the thing, like in this meta, it seems Parasite's in like, I'd say 75% of decks. Every Kate deck has it. The only place you won't see it is Criminal, I feel.
Well, I've also not seen it in the 2 Chaos Theory decks that I played today.
Chaos Theory is Chaos Theory.
Yeah, but it's that new Theophilus Backbiter Faust shenanigans. They just don't have the influence.
And on this remote, I was sitting there and I was like, all right, he's got 2 of them out already. Chances are it's not the same thing, but
you do run Parasite though, right?
No, I don't.
Don't say what?
No, man.
You're red identity. That's like a blue guy being like, oh, Siphon's not good enough for me.
I don't run it. I don't run it because I rely pretty heavily on Eater and Keyhole, and if I don't get to use that, then I'm using David for the Nasty Sentries, and
I think Parasite's really good in an Eater deck because it gives you an in when you normally wouldn't get in a server. Like you just you don't want me to, I can't access like archives like you're with a Keyhole, but like I'll just put a Parasite there.
Right.
Eventually the ice will fall off.
You're right. I think my goal was also to keep the programs limited because I use Inject a lot. So it probably is. You know better than I do, Ahmed. So I might consider.
I'm just saying. It seems like Parasite. Yeah. It's a card. It's a card.
Oh, it's a good card.
It's a good card.
Honestly, just to comment a bit more about Tour Guide, that game it was actually a bit of an issue because Anarch is a bad matchup for that deck because they're very good at coming in and trashing things. Yeah. I hate seeing Imp when they can just come in and trash things. No Imp in that deck, thank goodness.
Hacktivist meeting was huge.
Yes, Hacktivist meeting. I'll tell you, everybody, Hacktivist meeting and what's the Wayland one I'm blanking on? I've been using it all day. Housekeeping. Those 2 cards have been amazing. I mean, people are starting to use Currents finally, but still, Housekeeping. I won a game we had Noise. I had got Housekeeping out first turn, and it was disgusting because what's he going to do? Every time he mills one of mine, I mill one of his. But I had a couple Singularities in my hand that I was going to use if I needed to, which really goes well with Eater and those remotes with Sands and all that kind of stuff, but it never really came in because he had like 10 remotes. I couldn't get it out.
Yeah, he had a lot of different remotes. You even told Ben before we said, like, I'm extremely horizontal.
Yes.
You're going to take a lot of the field.
Yes, I was.
Yeah. Sorry, no, go on.
Essentially what it was that I noticed that when Tour Guide was revealed, I was like, this looks like a fun toy. Yeah. Let's try making room for it.
So also you made room for another thing, hostile infrastructure. How'd
Hostile
that go? How much influence is it?
2.
Two. How many do you have?
3.
3. So then you're at 12 influence with your tour guide, hostile infrastructure. What's the
Turtle
last
X,
3?
Turtle X, Turtle X. It's hostile, tour guide, and a single shipment from Miramorph. I am playing Near Earth Hub.
Okay.
So I've got the 17.
Okay, cool.
So that is...
Miramorph has 2 advancements?
No, shipment from Miramorph is put 3 things out.
Oh, okay. Oh, you...
Yes.
So you're like gain money with turtlebacks, draw 1 card. Okay,
Yep.
it is interesting. So hostile infrastructure, I thought was like very surprised there. But I guess it makes sense if you have 5 of them, you're that horizontal. If they really want to trash, they're going to have to pay for it.
Having 1 makes people think, again, about trashing things like San or Franchise, and it just completely neuters Keyhole.
Yeah, Franchise is good. It's a good card. I've seen a lot of play of it.
It actually, I had, in a prior match, had to get a ruling on how it interacts with Film Critic. And because, unless they're doing some shenanigans where they're managing to access an agenda on my turn, the ordering for Film Critic versus Franchise is Film Critic will negate the access, and Franchise City will not score.
Yeah. Film Critic is crazy.
Not a fan. Not a fan.
It's mine.
Not a fan of Film Critic. Not a fan.
Yeah, it really is really good in a house.
That was the big issue I had. I was trying to figure out if I want. What's the one corporate or government? The one where you res it, trash an agenda, and you can trash a resource every turn. I forget what that is. But,
corporate town.
Corporate town. I was trying to toss up between that and contract killer.
All right, so then one other thing I noticed is I was just like a small thing I noticed. You res Blacklist when he was just I think running somewhere. Like you res it, seemed like kind of like preemptively.
Essentially, I was still a little unclear at the beginning whether or not I actually needed to have all my assets resed before he ran into things like Tour Guide. And I was also just sort of testing him out to see, okay, how much does he care right now?
Well, Blacklist, yeah. Okay,
so,
I was just curious about that, res. And then the Utopia play happened really fast. So you sacked Utopia Shard. Like, but you showed him the things you discarded? I thought, I was very confused.
No. Essentially, what happened was that
this is from my personal.
There was already an NAPD in archives.
Yeah,
he
knew about it.
Yeah, he knew about that. So I was guessing that what he was trying to do was get 1 more agenda out of my hand, because at that point, had there been any other agenda there, he would have won immediately.
Oh, okay.
Because I already had Hades Shard out, and I had Utopia Shard, and he was starting to short things up. So I was like, well. He's laying out these remotes, and he's not laying out ice, so I'm thinking he's probably got agendas in his hand, and he knows I can't get in there because I'm using Eater, and I don't want to use another I want to save my Wants and Destruction for later just in case.
Yeah.
Because the plan was I hadn't seen a single Deja Vu, I don't think, maybe 1, so I was going to Deja Vu my Hades Shard back again if I had to, and just use it again. But
the one Deja that I saw got eaten by Max's ability.
Right.
Vu,
Oh, yeah.
It happens, Max. Eats cards.
It's Max, yeah.
Yeah. That's all the things I jotted down about questions. Do you guys have any other comments about the games? How things went? Any concerns, like how you feel your deck performed?
Well, ironically, I actually got ice flooded, which is bizarre in a deck that runs only 9 pieces of ice.
You have 9 ice.
I have 9 ice. 3 Tour Guide, 3 Bastion, 3 Toll Booth.
Bastion, Toll Booth. Interesting.
I enjoyed it.
That was good.
I like Max and I like Argus. That's why I play him. Max is kind of the weaker of the 2, I think. So I've done pretty well with Argus. But also, Giga-bites has good food, so come down.
You should probably go eat your sandwich.
Yeah, it
arrived at the beginning of our match, and it's now just sort of taunting you.
Yeah.
I'll let you guys go.
I appreciate it.
That's it. So someone asked about standings. We'll get the full standings later, but you guys were tied before this for 3rd and 4th place.
And then I got swept.
And so now you'll probably be solidified in 3rd, maybe even 2nd place.
Oh, cool.
Because you were 3rd place before this.
I didn't realize I was that high.
Yeah. So there'll be 1 last round of Swiss. We'll give you the standings, and we'll come back, and we'll have the last round of Swiss
1 more.
as well.
I thought there were 2.
No, we're doing 5 rounds total.
Yeah.
So this was the 4th round.
This was as end of round.
End of round,
1 more
3rd round.
Okay,
this is the end of, so this is the 4th. Yeah.
Okay.
There'll be 1 more round, and then we'll have the top 3, and we'll see who qualifies for tomorrow. Okay. Thanks. Stick with us. We'll have 1 more round.
Thanks, Ahmed. Always a pleasure, my friend.
Yeah, it's great talking to you guys. Thanks for coming up.
Enjoy.
Congratulations again.
Thank you.